Okay, so that'll do it for questions. Time for the book.
Oh boy, what do we got? What do we got?
The book today is Saint Antony of the Desert by Saint Athanasius.
Wow, that goes back a day or two.
Yes, it does. I guess Saint Athanasius was Saint Anthony's assistant. A lot of times he saw him a lot. And I guess Saint Anthony of the Desert. His other name is Saint Anthony the Great, as well.
Yeah.
This Saint Anthony is kind of a sneaky important saint, because he is one of the big figures in from the Desert Fathers. He's one of the big names. But I don't think, is that fair to say he's one of the big names in terms of the?
Oh, is the big name?
Yeah, he's the big name. Yeah.
St. Anthony was the father of monasticism, which is why there are several kinds of monks in the East, amongst the Maronites and the Chaldeans and so forth. And they're called Antonians because they're not Basilians under St. Benedict and St. Benedict. Antonians because their rule is supposedly based on that of St. Anthony. Now, St. Anthony had a friend called St. Paul the Hermit. And so, because later St. Anthony had people gathering under him, he's also called St. Anthony the Abbot. And so they say that St. Paul the Hermit was the father of eremitical life, and St. Anthony the father of cenobitical life, which means monastics living in community. So he's huge.
Yeah.
And of course, St. Athanasius actually knew him.
Right. Right.
During St. Athanasius's problems with the Arians, once or twice, I think, St. Anthony came out of the desert to preach.
Yeah. So let's see. I read this book a couple years back, and this book really is the one that ignited my devotion and admiration of the Desert Fathers. The hermits are sort of my favorite, most particularly, actually, well, he's not a Desert Father per se, but St. John the Baptist was also a hermit. And one of the reasons why I have such admiration for them is I've always regarded them as sort of the pinnacle of Christian living. I mean, their life is a complete renunciation of all the comforts, of living. You know, we have machines that condition the air. We have food on demand. We have entertainment on demand. They don't have remotely anything close to that, and they didn't want that. And so I guess they encouraged me so much because they have such a strength to live in those conditions, and that's encourages and inspires me not to live in the desert, but to have the strength to bear the crosses that come my way in life, and to bear it with patience. So they inspire me in that sense. And yeah, that's why I think they're so important, is they're such a model for us in that way. What do you think, Charles?
Well, I agree with you. Also, I mean, they provided the essential support St. Athanasius needed in his combats. And really, they were the forerunners of monks who, throughout the history of the church, have stood up for the faith when nobody else would. And it was precisely their monastic fervor that allowed them to do so.
Yeah, you say that, and that leads me to one of the heroic qualities of St. Anthony. Now, you notice in this book, they actually give his timeline, his lifespan, 251 to 356. That's 104 years, or 105 years in the desert. And during that time, actually, one of the things he longed for greatly was to be martyred. And they use the word, they say he mourned because he was not martyred.
Yeah,
That is hard to relate to for us people who like being comfortable and like long lives.
no, that's true. Yeah, that's true. And I mean, we are comfy. We're warm and cozy and mm, you're so comfortable.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the opposite of what the Desert Fathers were all about. I mean, we if we have to give up whipped cream in our coffee for Lent, we feel put upon. And these were people who were utter heroes of penance.
Oh man, that makes me think of me because I use creamer, various types of creamer, and when we don't have creamer and I have to put milk in my coffee, I moan and groan. Like, milk in my coffee. It's not gonna taste good anymore.
It's so hard.
No, really, seriously, like that's.
No, I agree. I understand completely. You know, well, listen. I mean, we are wimps.
Yeah.
You know, we are sugar babies. What are those sugar babies? We mustn't be handled too roughly. We get hurt. We bruise easily. It's hard. And Went is so bad. It's so hard for us because we give up little things, not big ones, and it's just tough. And then Easter comes, and we get to hunt eggs. One time of the year that rabbits lay them.
Wow. Yeah.
You didn't know that?
I didn't know that. The one time of the year.
Well, yep. The one time of the year. Only on Easter Sunday will rabbits lay eggs.
Fascinating.
Yeah. See, you can even pick up biology around here.
I didn't know that was your strong suit, Charles.
Oh, it is now. Of course, you got to understand that as a person who's very, very comfy just at the moment, I'm very contented, and bunnies laying eggs kind of add to the mood.
Okay, so let's see, a couple other parts of this book. Saint Anthony had a lot of encounters with demons and the devil himself.
Yes.
One of my favorite encounters is where like the devil knocks on his door and he's sad. He's like, everybody blames me for everything, and I have no power over anybody, and yet they're all blaming me. And Saint Anthony, he didn't have much sympathy for the devil. He just slammed the door in his face. He was like, get away.
Well, there have been a lot of really freaky paintings called the Temptation.
The Temptation of Saint Anthony?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Usually showing a withered old monastic cringing while all these demons are running around on top of him.
Whoa. Ooh, yeah, they're, so that's interesting. So I think Saint Athanasius, speaks on several different things. So I think Saint Athanasius, is able to, drop some wisdom in the book as well on some matters. Let's see here. That's about it. It's a short little book. In the Tumbler House bookstore, I think it's $7 or $8. This nice little book, appropriately Lenten.